Among other things, I'm currently the chair of Liberal Judaism, and we are in the process of working with Reform Judaism at the moment and co-creating a new progressive Judaism movement in the UK. We have a website. It's pathtoprogressivejudaism.org, and those of you who want to follow the progress that we're making, I hope that you will go to the website and participate in this really exciting process of co-creation. Our Torah portion this week is terumah, which means gifts. It contains an astonishing act of co-creation. It consists of God's instructions, which are incredibly detailed, to the people of Israel about building the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And in this portion, we see the word mikdash, meaning a sanctuary, and Shekhinah, the divine presence, God as a God who is close to us. In the Torah portion, God bids Moses to tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts for me from every person whose heart so moves him. Let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. And there are three core ideas here that I want to have a look at during these brief moments. One is the idea of gifts, why that's so important. A look at let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. And also this act of co-creation, which seems to me to be very timely and very important. So to take them one by one, gifts. The thing about gifts and giving is that you have agency when you do it. You make the decision to do it. And in our Torah portion, it's very clear that this gift giving is not tzedakah. It's not the kind of giving out of charity or giving because there's an obligation to give. It's a voluntary gift. And this Torah portion therefore seems to suggest to me to talk a bit about the act of giving and the grace of the act of giving and the connection that it gives to one another. Terumah means something that we give, but apparently it also means something that we lift up. And giving, as Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said, confers dignity in a way that receiving doesn't quite do. And in this Torah portion, God gave the children of Israel an opportunity to give and made us therefore partners in the act of creation, in that case creating together this portable sanctuary that was the Mishkan. And as Rabbi Sachs said, when we lift something to give to another, it is ourselves who are lifted. The other thing that seems to me to be important about the giving thing was that this was the first opportunity of the children of Israel to give something back to God after God had done all the miracles about the parting of the Sea of Reeds and everything. And God specified that the Mishkan be built only out of voluntary contributions. So that opportunity for the children of Israel to give back and experience that dignity of giving seems to me to be quite important. There's so much to say about the the actual sentence there, let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. First of all, obviously, many people have commented that the sanctuary was portable, and a lot of the detail in the instructions is about how you have the rings and how you insert the poles in the rings and how long the poles have to be and the colors of the fabric around it. And it's clear that the sanctuary is to be carried as the Israelites journeyed through the wilderness. As far as where the Hebrew says, let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. What's interesting is, well, many things, but two things is that it's not that I may dwell in the sanctuary. There's no intention there expressed by God that God would dwell in the sanctuary. God wants to dwell amongst the people. And the Hebrew word for among them is betocham, which can also mean within them, apparently. So what seemed to me to be tremendously exciting is that expressed idea that God says he wants to dwell amongst the people, not in the sanctuary, among the people. And that the tabernacle therefore represented the presence of God in the people of Israel's midst. And that seemed to me to be tremendously exciting. Rabbi Sachs also has an extraordinary idea that God has to step back in order to create space for people to become creators. Otherwise, if God was occupying all the space, there wouldn't have been room for the people to become creators or to create something. And this idea of us being partners in the world of creation seemed to me to be incredibly important. I said something about the detailed instructions. They really are incredibly detailed. I mean, think IKEA, but IKEA with words, because IKEA manages just to do it with diagrams. But there's something to be said for the idea that you value what you make with IKEA, with your hands, and that's certainly true of IKEA. I mean, you make a chest of drawers and you're ridiculously proud of it, even though, in fact, they've done all the designing and they've done everything else. This Torah portion has an awful lot about cubits. I discovered that a cubit is the length from the elbow to the fingertip. Though quite whose length from the elbow to the fingertip was not clear to me. I discovered from my friend Elizabeth Rochman that in quantum computing, qubit is actually a word in a lot of use today. And I found out from Wikipedia that a qubit, or a quantum bit, is a basic unit of quantum information, the quantum version of the classic binary bit physically realized with a two-state device. I don't know about you, but the only bit of that I understood was two-state, and that seems particularly difficult to construct to be thinking about at this time. The third thing I want to say is about the excitement of co-creation. I know that we feel it within liberal Judaism, and I know that the work that's happening in Reform is also amongst tremendous excitement about this movement that we are co-created. And as I said before, the construction of the Mishkan was the first great constructive and collaborative act after the children of Israel crossed the Sea of Reeds. And what we're trying to do with progressive Judaism is to create a movement that will help us to apply the values, the learning, the tradition, and the texts from our heritage to the 21st century lives that we live. Many commentators have said that the divine presence lives not in a building, but in its builders. A synagogue, or the Mishkan, is a domain set aside for God, but the place has the effect of opening hearts to the God that is worshipped there. And in this Torah portion, there are many, many echoes between the act of creation in Genesis and the act of creation of the Mishkan. And more about, commentators have said about our being partners in this act of creation. One rabbi has said, temples are not built for God, but as a sign for people. Religious institutions should become a human replica for the creation of the world and a reminder that people are God's partners in it. Therefore, the role of religion is not only to follow the tradition, but to act as a model of the ideal world. The role of a Jewish community is not to repeat the same actions time and time again, but to model the change and evolution of humanity. I'd like to hand over to that rabbi now to conduct Ocean's admission ceremony. It was, of course, Rabbi Igor Zinkov. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, as I heard this last quote, I thought I quite agree with it.